style practice, so it'll be quite lovely just to take it a nice start for the morning. So give me a few moments to get the IT set up, and I'll see you over there on the mat very soon. Thanks for joining me this morning. Just moving that over to Apple TV, can see all the green lights. So it looks like I am online. I'll press go live on this one. I'll press go live on that one. Okay. So many different moving parts. Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining me today. You'll be heading to your mat, please, with your bolster ready to go. So today is an auspicious dark moon. It's an important day on the Hindu calendar, and it is one devoted to the Lord Shiva. So feel free just to come into a comfortable seat for a moment here and just settle into your physical body. And then from that experience of the physical body, start to move deeper into the subtle body. As you close down your eyes, just recognize how you've arrived. And feel into the volume of your breath, the energy and the prana that flows within you. And soften those areas of tension. And illuminate those areas that feel wonderful and full of vitality. Feel the weight of the shoulders soften down and away from the ears. And feel the coolness of the breath as it enters. And perhaps you can recognize the warmth of the breath as it exits. You can recognize the quality of the breath as it comes and goes. And just maintain this deep sense of awareness for another couple of breaths. This is the pose of Adi Yogi, the first yogi, Shiva. Seated meditation. And bring your hands to your heart space and draw your chin towards your chest. Thanking yourself for getting on the mat today and practicing here this morning. Take a moment. If you'd like to share an Om with me, feel free to do that. If not, just let the sound reverberate around you. Rub your hands together and create some friction across the palms, generating warmth and fire, heat and Agni. And then place the hands over the eyes just to absorb the nourishment of the warmth that you've cultivated there. And then as you start to peel the hands away from the eyes, gently blink open the eyes and arrive in your space. We'll begin here with extended child's pose. So shift yourself with your blanket or bolster underneath you, between your thighs. Big toes come to touch. Sit back on your heels. Take a big breath. Inhale here And then with your exhale breath, start to roll down and lower the stomach and the torso onto your bolster. I'm just going to grab an extra cushion so that my head can stay a little elevated and the microphone is still attached. Just stay here now for about 3 minutes. So our Yin Yoga poses are held for a much longer period of time, and we find ourselves in some stillness. Just give in to the field of gravity now. Let the body just sort of melt into the expression of this child's like position. The tummy is soft, the abdominals are relaxed. There's a little bit of compression occurring across the hamstrings and the joints of the knee and the hip. And this helps you to create these artificial dam that prevents the flow of the prana and energy momentarily. As we prevent the flow of energy, we are allowing the build-up to begin to create that dam-like effect. And as opposed to it being a permanent fixture of the body, we are creating an impermanent fixture that will eventually be allowed to release the flow of energy that is welled up behind it. And perhaps those currents will be more stronger, will be more vibrant, and in that doing so, it allows for flushing out the blockages, flushing out the stickiness. So child's pose is an opportunity to melt away the expectations of adult life, the conditioning we place upon ourselves, and simply melt into a shape that gives you a little bit of a chance to draw your awareness inwards quite deeply. And you take yourself from the fabric of your skin and the touch of the clothing upon it into the contours of the muscles, the structures of the bones, the web of the nerves, and just allow the movement to be a very internal experience. See if you can focus on the universe within rather than all of the distractions without. And just let the next 20 or so breaths be supernatural, and to be as long or as short as you wish. As you recharge and restore your batteries, feel free to let those ruminating thoughts release with the exhale breath. The 70, 80, 90% of thoughts that were identical to yesterday are just taking up RAM on your internal computer, processing nonsense instead of processing abundance, Last few breaths here in your child's pose, Balasana. Perhaps you could see if you can expand across the upper back a little more with the inhale. And if a sigh out of your mouth serves you here, please feel free to do that. And as you prepare to come back into your practice after that long stillness, just begin to wiggle the toes and wiggle the fingers. Maybe roll the head from left to right. And flipping your palms to return them onto the mat. And then preparing your way into an all fours position, your tabletop, shifting up. And simply slide your pillows, bolsters, blocks, whatever you have, up towards the front of your mat and away just for a moment. We will come back to them soon. From our tabletop position, move through your spine with an inhale in cow and an exhale as you tilt the tailbone down, dome through the back, exhale into cat as the tummy muscles draw in. So let's find a little bit of activity in the torso. So in the inhale, we're moving through the spine, hydrating the tissues, re-energizing all of the discs and the vertebral column. And as you still come into that cat, remember to press away from the earth. Dome up into the field of gravity. As much as gravity is an incredibly important part of our day, it does become overbearing. It does cause us to slouch. And so as we just move here with this natural intuition through the spine, just see if you can find a little bit of reciprocity against the earth and against the field of gravity. And then if this begins to turn into what I call sexy cat, you're very welcome to do that, which is just natural, organic movements guided by your own internal universe. Where are those sticky spots? Where are those areas that you might be gripping or a little bit tense? When you look at a cat, you can see that ability to target areas that are a little sticky or resistant. They are incredibly intuitive, beautiful, clever, and very aloof. Certainly my Burmese cat is. She is very aloof. And she knows how beautiful she is as well. That's the thing. You can just move here for a few moments, exploring your body. Then I'll invite you to meet me back in your stable tabletop position where we'll take our thread the needle for that warming up of the shoulder. So right hand up to the ceiling. Reach it up first and just pause there. See if you can get a little extra length. And then with the dive through in and under, we're going to just take one breath there before we move through it again. So lower right ear down. Left hand can slide forward. Just take a breath, take a moment. And then return the stability of the left hand in front of your face and right hand peels up to the ceiling. Reach again, up and away, and now we're going to dive through in and under and luxuriate here by lowering right ear down, softening onto right shoulder, and then sliding left hand forward and away, or you can lift left hand up, bend behind your back and place it on the small of your back. So we want to be skillful in the presence of the discomfort here. It's an unusual position to place weight. So just be a mindful practitioner in your own space. Look for ways to support yourself. You could have a pillow under the head, or perhaps just a nice folded blanket. You may be on carpet, which is more supportive than a firm floor like I have. But no matter what, we won't hold this as long. This is not as long a yin pose as the others. So how about we say 10 more breaths here? Nice, slow, methodical yogi breaths. See if you can soften any areas of tension. I noticed my pelvis was being anteriorly tilted. I was really creating a lot of tension at the hip joint. So just find that softness. Bring your awareness into the internal dimension of the practice and how the body gathers tension and how the nervous system, through the awareness of the yogi presence, that kind of inner scan of your universe, can help to just release the tension, release the stickiness, release the gooiness. Let's lower the left hand down onto the mat in front of our face, and with a slow, intentional inhale, we return the weight to the left hand as the right hand guides back up to the ceiling. Upon the lift, draw whatever shape in the ceiling you wish, whether that's a circular, oval, square, just to get some mobility back in the shoulder. And then lower right hand down, move through cow and cat. And in that process of that methodical cow and cat, recognize how much warmer the right side of your body is, how much more flow there is as the body returns the energy through the cells, through the tissues, after that momentary compression of the thread, the needle. So how about we do it on the other side to encourage our harmony and our balance. So left hand up to ceiling, peel up, reach up, rise up. And it's going to be that one dive in and under first, yeah? So down onto left ear, look to the right, and then we'll take an inhale to lift us up. So inhale breaths are generally that lifting experience, and then the exhale is the contracting and lowering down experience. So as you lower down now onto the left side of your face, the left shoulder, the right hand can slide forward or comes up, flips the palm so the back of the hand arrives on the small of the back. And you just take a moment now just to settle into the discomfort on this side and be skillful in its presence. So Yin Yoga is about applying a degree of stress that we can tune into the sensation provided by that stress. We be skillful in its presence so that we recognize that the body's nervous system response isn't going into fight or flight. It's going into rest and digest. Restore and recharge. Repair and reconnect. And possibly realign the quality of our thoughts back to our North Star alignment, back to that true inner wisdom. And there's about 5 more slow, steady breaths. Gradually, that right hand from behind your back slowly returns back on the mat in front of your face. You press into that hand, and with an inhale, slide the left hand up, reach, rise, and then draw that circular shape in the sky or oval, reverse, and then lower the hands down, taking some organic movement through spine, neck, and shoulders. You can use your props out in front of you. If you're practicing in a space where you don't have props, but you might be able to even see around you, anything that you can prop your elbows up on. So it could be the edge of your sofa, the edge of your kitchen bench, a chair, because you can naturally create this shape. I'm encouraging you here to place your elbows on something other than the mat so that you can slowly allow the forehead and the head to shift between the arms, and you get all of this incredible hydration through your back. So you could do this on the edge of your kitchen bench, your tabletop, a chair, because you just have to change the orientation of your body. You might be standing as opposed to kneeling like me. Or you might be kneeling deep more higher and be on the edges of your sofa. But wherever it is, it's just creating the elbows on the edge of that prop, and then let the head hang heavy. And then hammocking into all of the tissues of your back, all of the fascia, all of the connective tissues, and all of the big ropey muscles of the posterior chain down the back of the body. Just dropping into your breath now. Just hear movement of it back and forth. And just recognize how that de-escalation in the nervous system occurs as the breath becomes so methodical, so deliberate, as a slower, gentler pace of breath. It prevents the excitement of the nervous system, and it encourages it to be more softening. As that focus on that internal dimension, be okay with the fact that this is still a slower class. There's not as much activity. Again, though, where have you gathered tension? Did you do it in your jaw? Have you done it in the front of the hips? How much wisdom can you find in your mind to turn off those areas? How can you soften the front of the hips? How can you release the jaw? Last few breaths here. slowly starting to lower the forearms down. And if you did move over to a tabletop or somewhere else, come back onto your mat and simply start to shift yourself forward and arrive on your tummies. Now, if you are fortunate enough to have a bolster with you, the bolster gets placed underneath the lowest ribs. So make sure you're proud chested enough and lifted enough so that you can slide your bolster, or if you don't own a bolster, roll up a big thick towel and create like a burrito and place it underneath your lowest ribs. And then place your forearms out in front of you and lower down the palms, but elevate the head and the chest for a moment in your Sphinx pose. So I'm just going to relocate myself so that I'm facing you. So with the support of the bolster underneath you, it's really an opportunity to also feel the movement of the diaphragm. Feel how the breath comes and goes across that lowest ribs as it shifts like an accordion back and forth. Pulsating with the breath. For me, having an active buttocks and active thighs just helps take any pinchy sensation out of the lumbar spine. You feel into how the pose begins to create that awareness of the spine. You may like to stay completely still with the elevated head. Or perhaps if you're like me and you do suffer with a little bit of neck pain from unassociated aspects of your everyday life, movement for me, just in a very slow and methodical manner, is what my body cherishes. And I like to slowly draw the chin to the chest as the head starts to find heaviness. And then once I create sort of that full range of movement, I start to slowly lift the head and allow the chin to lift. And then you repeat that if it works for you. Or you stay completely still. And it's almost like you can feel how each of the vertebra get this beautiful hydration, how the neck gets all of this lovely hydration. So we're about halfway. This one will be a longer hold. It is one of the very supportive yin poses. I am going to let my head remain heavy for a few moments. Keep the activity in my legs and my thighs and my buttocks. And see if I can encourage the contours of the spine to be enlivened during this stillness. Just notice how incredible it is to give your body some space just to reset, to recharge on its own terms. Feel the comfort, feel the discomfort, And allow the two to be the opposites that you harmonize in your practice. And now as you start to lift the head, if you lowered it like me, and you are able to come up onto the hands. So I've lifted my chest now up and off the into a higher expression to sweep the right arm underneath the left. So it's going in and underneath the left. Shift the weight forward so you find your prone shoulder stretch here with the left arm reaching forward, the weight shifting forward so that the right arm gets another thread the needle like expression, but you're a little bit more supported. You have the elevation of the bolster underneath you. Keeping a wiggle of the fingers. Just every now and then. Starting to lift the chest now and return the right arm out in front of you. Proud the chest again, and we'll take the left arm underneath. Sweep it in and under with the palm facing the ceiling. Shift some weight forward so that you lower more of the weight onto that arm underneath you. Take your prone shoulder stretch here. So valuable for our typers, for anyone that works on a computer, reads their tablet all day, rolls the shoulders forward. Just so good to get the tissues of the shoulder joint hydrated again. And starting to lift your body, coming into your seal expression now. So the arms are extended, the chest is proud. Look forward. Walk the hands back towards your bolster. Come onto your all fours. Slide your bolster out of the way and lower down onto your stomachs. Take your right arm directly out from your body at a right angle. Return your head to look in the opposite direction. Roll onto your right hip first and stack the knees in a fetal-like position. That's option 1. That can be about where you might like to stay. Option 2, you might like to lift the left arm up. Flip the hand so the palm faces the wall behind you, and bend the elbows so that as you place the back of the hand on the small of your back, you can just allow yourself to soften down onto the right shoulder and the right side of your face. Now, if you do need to use something underneath your head, grab a pillow or a bolster and come back in. A towel or something soft. And the final piece of the puzzle is, if you wish, you can step the left foot behind you as well, which creates even more of a corkscrew through your body. So you've got your left hand behind you, the left foot behind you, and you're lying on the right arm and the right side of your face. And this one is in particular an excellent stretch for people that have the tendency of working way too long at a desk, on a computer, typing, drawing their shoulders forward. And slowly starting to return back onto your stomach, rolling back onto the mat, and then we'll take all that on the other side. So left hand reaches out to the left, palm down. Roll the head to look away from that arm. Roll onto the left hip, and first thing, fetal position through the knees. So just let the knees stack, the ankles stack, and just stay there. It's very stable. Otherwise, you could add on by lifting the right hand, the palm faces the wall behind you, and the hand comes to the small of the back. And if there was some more space and you wanted to add on, you could step the right foot behind you and come onto the sole of the foot. So it's just deepening the corkscrew through your spine. We tend to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, so it's no surprise that they are an area where we often feel an uncomfortableness. Maybe it's a neck complaint, maybe it's a trapped shoulder, maybe it's tightness across the upper back, across the shoulder blades. And that is the purpose of the practice, is to lighten the load, to recognize those things that we continually recycle in our mind, the distractions, the limiting beliefs, the negative thoughts. Just take this opportunity to cleanse your auric field, remove them from the memory bank, pop them in the trash, right click, empty trash, listen to it, flick away. One more deep breath here. Right hand comes back overhead, returns on the mat. We roll back onto tummies, and then we go back to where we started, extended child's pose. Shift back onto your all fours, grab your bolster, your prop, whatever it was, place it out in front of you between your thighs, big toes touch, sit back on your heels, proud chest, and then walk the hands forward and roll down onto your bolster. So this is where I'll leave you here. So you're welcome to take this pose for as long as you wish, just to recalibrate, reconnect. You may even like to turn it into your rest pose, your Shavasana, or you could take a more traditional shape. But wherever you're at, take a moment to thank yourself for showing up, thank yourself for practicing, thank yourself for doing something wonderful for your mind in particular, just to chill that overthinking aspect, to release those limiting beliefs and negative thoughts, and encouraging the hydration of the tissues and of the mind of positivity. So thanks for your practice today. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you again real soon. Bye for now.